Hi, everybody. Good morning. Today we're going to be reading the second half of the short story, Joseph's Castle in the Sky. We'll be completing our usual opening do now warm-up routine. We'll be completing a before reading activity to help students reflect on the prior reading from yesterday's lesson and for students to clarify their understanding of the events in the story up to this point. Today's purpose, today we are going to conclude our reading of the story. Let's pay special attention to any words or phrases that show how Joseph changes. Now there's a link to an audio recording of the text as well as a link to a modified version of the text. Clicking this link will open up a PDF that can be seen here. This PDF is a modified version of the text to make it easy for our students to read, and in addition it includes guiding questions to help clarify and check for a student's understanding while they are reading. Furthermore, there's paragraph references in brackets to help students locate their answers more easily. Following the reading, there's a number of discussion questions for students to answer, and these questions could either be done as a whole class or individually or in partners. And these questions could be provided for students on the weekly student handout document. A copy of this could be found in the video adapted resources folder. Following the discussion questions, there's an after reading activity. The first prompt asks students to summarize the text. There's a fill in the blanks close style activity for students to complete in order to complete a summary of the text, as well as a follow-up prompt asking students to reflect on their own life. Now, just to point out, this early prompt here states, when I first came to the United States. Now, this prompt could easily be modified to say things like, when I first came to New York, when I first came to New York City, when I first came to a new school, etc., for students who may not be personally immigrants to the United States. Finally, there's a number of closing and connecting activities, and the teacher could choose which activity works best for his or her students. There's a check for understanding question. There's a connection to the text question, asking students where they would like to visit. There's a short writing prompt of what students would say to someone who they know who may have feelings of anxiety or nervousness, as well as an extend the learning activity, which will come into play in tomorrow's day 5 activity. Students could find a picture of something that makes them feel tall and strong, similar to Joseph's experiences in the story. Now let's dive right into today's lesson. Can somebody please read today's essential question? Good. How can sharing our stories make us stronger? Can somebody please read today's 2 lesson objectives? Good. To explore how words or phrases are used in a text to shape the meaning or tone. And 2, to develop personal, cultural, and thematic connections to text and big ideas. Now let's take a look at this opening do now activity. Let's look at this image. What do you see? What do you think? What do you wonder? Now here's some sentence starters to help support our students. In the image I see, I think that, one thing I wonder is. You can pause the video now to give students a chance to respond. Students may say, in the image, I see a large building on a hill. Students may say, I think that, it looks like a castle. One thing I wonder is, where is it and why was it built? Now, at this time, it may be helpful or interesting to show students a video of this unbelievable landmark. Now, many Haitian students are very familiar with this landmark as it played a major role in the Haitian Revolution. However, students from other national backgrounds may not be familiar with this particular landmark. On YouTube, there's a fantastic video available, and a link is available in the notes section of this version of the PowerPoint in the video adapted resources folder. As you can see from this video, provides a number of unbelievable visual images of this landmark, which would really allow students to really see how unbelievable and how remarkable this landmark is. And they could begin to understand how important seeing this would be for Joseph and how impactful it would be on his understanding of his cultural background and of his Haitian heritage. Now, following the opening do now warm-up routine, students could complete a before reading activity led by the teacher in order to reflect and review the previous day's reading. Students and teachers could jump into the text. There's a number of ways to go about reading of the text, whether it is read aloud or read first independently by students, and then an audio recording is listened to following the independent reading. So it's good to vary how reading is done in class in order to meet the needs of diverse learners. While reading, students could work on the guiding reading questions, and following the reading, students could answer the discussion questions. Now, following the reading, there's two after the reading activities or prompts for students to complete. The first prompt asks students to summarize the text, and the second prompt asks students to connect to some of Joseph's experiences as described in the text. Now, this second portion will come into play again in tomorrow's Day 5 lesson. Finally, there's a few closing and connecting activities. Teachers could check additionally for understanding from all students. Students could have an opportunity to share out places they personally would like to visit. Students could complete a short writing activity, and students could find a picture online to support something in their life that makes them feel tall and strong, the way the structure, the citadel in the text makes Joseph feel tall and strong. So at this time, you could jump into today's before reading activity, and I hope you will enjoy the rest of the story. Thank you.